Shalom Aleichem. We're learning a Sicha of Purim. Aleph. It's a long Sicha. It's a combination of two Farbrengens that Rebbe had, one after another. First Purim, then Parshas Kisisa. And you could even see often in the Sicha structure they combine the two Sichas, so you can't even tell which part is what. But this Sicha is very much different sections. Like it's almost as if till the Chassidus section is one section, till Ois Yud, and then it's another section from Ois Yud till Yud Beis, and then Yud Beis till Tes Vav, and Tes Vav onwards. It's a whole fascinating thing in Shulchan Aruch at the end, etc. What's sitting at the heart of the Sicha? What's sitting at the heart of the Sicha is the difference between Esther and Mordechai. And as the Rebbe points out, even within Esther itself, there's two different levels. There's, as he says in the Ura 60, there's Esther Hamalka, and that is the way she's higher than Galus, and then there's Esther, the way she's hidden, and then she goes down. And then in Mordechai, there's two levels. There's Mordechai, the way he's in Sanhedrin, where he has to be practical, and there's Mordechai, the way he is Mitzanatzmei from himself, and there he could be more in the Ruchnius Inyanim, which is at the heart of the Sicha, why Mordechai only wanted that there should be 2 days of Yom Tov, but he didn't want the Kasvuni, etc. Now, interesting, when the Rebbe originally said the Sicha in Purim Tavshin Chav Daled, the Rebbe sat on this idea of Mordechai being forced to be practical. The Rebbe sat on it extensively. It became the heart of the Hayrah. In this Sicha, you don't really see it so much in the edited version, but the Rebbe says like this, that there's a powerful lesson that when a person has to do Poyel Mamish, when a person is forced to actually make it practical, then it's a whole different mindset. The Sanhedrin's job was to make sure to do things in reality. He brings the famous thing that David HaMelech says, that, you know, I spend the whole day dealing with the tumah and a miscarriage and blood and like shilya, etc. That the Rav has to deal in reality, and that the person needs the siyata d'shmaya to do dafkem pe'el mamish, because the world is about affecting reality. And that nekuda is extremely important. The Rabbi says that we have to learn, because ultimately we're not here just to learn for the sake of learning, but we're here for the sake of learning l'kayim, to accept it and to bring it into practicality. And that's actually at the heart of the Sicha as well, the idea of kasvuni, that what Esther wants is that she doesn't just want that should be a Yom Tif, but rather kvauni and kasvuni. As the Rebbe says, that she wants it not only, you know, as a bedibur, but in Maisa, that's in written Maisa Rabba, as the Rebbe says on top of page 357 at the end in Ois Ches, that it has to be Maisa B'Peil. So what's at the core of the Sicha? What the core of the Sicha is the idea of going into Welt Maisa B'Peil. So like Esther, as the Rebbe explains, is Esther Amalka, the way she goes Malchus, not the way Malchus is La'atzma, that it's in Atzilus, but the Malchus, the way it goes out of Atzilus. In general, each Olam, each world has its own Malchus. So, you know, which Malchus you're referring to, but in Chassidus, often when it says Malchus and it doesn't really specify, it's talking about Malchus Atzilus, which is the Malchus that most probably plays the biggest function, because it's that thing that connects the Atzilus with the lower worlds. Why is that such a big function? Because Atzilus is a place which is Kulei Elikus, it's only Getlichkeit, and Biyah is a place when there's a little bit of the other side, there's a little bit of Olam. So that transition, that connection between Atzilus and Biyah is the biggest function that Atzilus, that Malchus has to play. So when we say Malchus in general, we're talking about Malchus Atzilus, the way it, as the Rebbe says, the way it goes into Biyah and affects the Biyah, like Esther, because that's what Esther is. Esther, the idea of hidden, going into the world and affecting it. And the Rebbe connects this later on to what the Alter Rebbe talks about in Shulchan Aruch, Ani ma'ir ha'shachar ve'en ha'shachar ma'ir oisi. And the Rebbe explains the whole idea, interesting, of a Beinani, that there's Beinani mitzad nigla the Torah, and a Beinani mitzad nigla the Torah cannot reach the level of En HaShachar Me'er Oisi. And then there is a Beinani mitzad Tanya, and that's the Medur Tinyana, the later Madura, the later edition of Tanya, of Shulchan Aruch, which is written al Pia Mikubalim, and that is Bein the Alpitanya, and that person reaches the level of Eina Shachar Merosi, that I'm not affected, but rather I transform it. And that the Rebbe wants us, as the Rebbe said in following, an Ois Chaf, that person has to remember, Vikem and Takem Man, and how could you demand such a level? And the answer is because B'pnimius were higher than Esther. And the reason you could go into this world is because you're not affected by it. And Dafka the Chayshach in this world, the Rebbe says, brings out the Pnimius Nafshay more than any other time. And this is the whole idea of Ata Tetzava as well. And that's why you're able to be a Yachali is Beini B'chaleis B'chal Shah, which is the final words of the Sicha, which is quite fascinating. That a Sicha which starts about Esther and Mordechai ultimately boils down the last final words. What's the word? Yachali is Beini B'chaleis B'chal Shah, Dafka in the Chayshach of Galus. So what's the take-home message of this, very long but Geshmak Sicha? Ultimately, the take-home message is that we live in a world of Ma'aseh B'Pel, that we go into this world, not be affected, Eina Shachar Me'eraisi, but that we truly transform it, and that's ultimately the level of Esther, and it's the level of Mordechai himself, as way Mordechai was in Sanhedrin when he accepted Esther's opinion. Because when he was in Sanhedrin, when he was a world of Maisa, which Sanhedrin's job is to be a world of Maisa, he accepts it and he understands that that's the way it has to be. It has to go into this world. And then the Rebbe explains that Esther is Seif Kol HaNisim, it's the ultimate nest, it's the final nest that's transcribed, because this is the nest of going into the Welt. And really, this is a Sicha, as we said many times over the past few weeks. It's a Dir B'Tachteinim Sicha, like every other Sicha of the Rebbe. It's a Dir B'Tachteinim, I'm coming into this world and truly transforming it from within. Dafka and Chayshach is where we find the Kayach, is how we do B'Dir B'Tachteinim, and it uncovers within us the greatest Kayach possible. That we should all have this year Purim. It's a difficult year, no question about it. And it's not going to be a typical Purim unless Mitzvah Hashem, by the time Purim comes, Mashiach's here already. That we should be able, in the Chayshach of this year's Purim, to be able to reveal the Esther, to reveal the Anochi Asta Asta, that's Anochi, that's Hashem within it, and truly transform it from within.